Welcome to my channel, Ken here. Today let's take a look at the Folktek Alter X. Let's go! Folktek. The Folktek Alter X. Big pedal. So, I guess there's a power supply. To a volt, I assume. Yep. And here's the pedal. Very nice. And a sticker. So I'm using my trusty Jacobsen soloist. Now this guitar has piezo pickups on, so that's what I'm using right now. That's no effect. And the effect is on. So now it's actually turned down the direct signal on the sequencer here. So now we're controlling the direct signal from here. So this would be all effect, no effect, 50%. There are 7 algorithms on this pedal, and this is the long delay. You switch it with this little touchpad right there, the hexagon thing. The lights indicate which one you're on, so that little flower there. So that would be the long delay. This is, they call it the notated granular delay. And then the plate reverb. And the shimmering reverb. And some kind of distortion multi-filter. And pitch delay. And the stutter glitch. And back to the long delay. This is the mix knob, on, off. There's a clock button here that I'm going to explain later in the video. And the shift, Y and X. Just want to point out these 4 plugs are control voltages that you can plug in, let's say, an oscillator or a pedal or volume pedal if it works with it. I'm not doing that right here. These right here are ins and outs and alternates to the 1/4 inch here. These right here are the input level. And the way this is hooked up right now is I'm using an audio simplified pedal pusher, which basically converts a pedal guitar signal into line level signal. So I have it as an effects return on my sequencer here. So the guitar is mono going out to a stereo effects send unit. On this particular long delay here, this is then designated as the delay time. And the Y is designated as feedback. So, here. And the low pass filter here. Well, I'll switch it over to single coils now. Because this pedal really suits ambient and atmospheric music. And I really like the plate reverb, so I want to put it over on that. So it works really well with an E-bow. So let's put a little more effect on it. And we'll try that on the long delay thing. It also works well on the shimmering. I'll try it with more harmonics. I think some of the effects work better than others. For guitar, sounds beautiful, and even if you have more direct signal like this. Now let me play with this clock. I think we should try and go back to the long delay. Full on. So it's all the way counterclockwise. And then it's fully clockwise. Very nice ambient sounds. Now this clock here, I just want to point out, it's not synced to the sequencer. This is a, I'll explain this a little bit later in the video. So here is the Alter X from Folktek. Now this one is very unique in a lot of ways actually. First and foremost, the build itself is made out of PCB, which is what you use for circuit boards. They are very adamant about that. It's very, very tough, and I believe them. It feels very, very solid, but it's a lot lighter than when you expect when it's made out of metal. So that's one thing that's where it differs from the norm. The graphics, very different too. The way it functions is very different, and the place where it comes from is very different. So let's start where it comes from. My impression of this whole thing is this is a guitar pedal, but they initially made called the Alter Y. It was made for Euroracks, and then they made the guitar pedal. Usually it's the other way around, that you take a guitar pedal and you use it for Eurorack synthesizer type thing. If you don't know what a Eurorack is, it's basically a modular system, a synthesizer system. However, I think that this definitely gives a different heritage, and it's meant to be played with a lot rather than read the manual, understand all the functions. What I didn't do is I didn't use the CVs too much, which is basically control voltage, so you can send something else into it and it'll control it like an oscillator, or certain pedals can do it too. But it's a stereo unit, obviously, with left and right here. Left and right. And it also has 8-inch jacks here, plus these two are level controls for the input. So if you have a hot synthesizer or something like that, you can turn it down here. Then you have these 4 buttons here and 1 here, and all these lights. Depending on the algorithm, which there are 7 of them, and I go through that earlier in the guitar demonstration, but the functions of these 3 knobs differ quite a bit. And this is the mix knob for how much direct signal you want to hear. And then the clock. This is internal clocking, and I'm going to read off what they say. It does not accept incoming clock signal. A slower clock will increase time and length of decays and reverbs and change the character of the effect. Bitrate of processing will lower at slower clock rates. So yeah, it's a little more granular as you turn it this way, and a little more hi-fi-ish that way. A couple of things about this unit I gotta point out. And for a reviewer, it's not great, because there's a little touchpad here where you change. Let's see if I can get it on the camera here. You change the algorithm, and it took me a little bit because it's just these lights, and I'm not sure. I always had to come back to number 1 here with the little flower, so I knew where I was. Well, I mean, if you get used to this thing, it won't be that big of an issue, but learning it quickly, a little bit of an issue here. Also, because it's a touch thing, you kind of have to have your eyes on it to make sure it switches, in case you go like, oops, you missed. So that's a little bit of a funky thing for me in any case. Also, this is not 9 volt, this is 12 volts. And it does suck up some juice because it is digital. So think Strymon or something like that. It's, you know, it needs a juice. I'm using its dedicated power supply. What's cool about this is there's an on-off switch here on the cable that you can choose to have or not, which is kind of neat. Now, I thought personally, I tried it in line and I tried it as a normal guitar player would, but I still find it works best as an insert into a track. That's just me, and it does sound very good. I mean, there's no question about this thing sounds very good. So These 7 algorithms are a little bit different than normal, and certainly if you want something different, and especially if you want the ambient ethereal stuff, then go get this. It's not cheap, but it definitely competes with the Strymons and the other high-end Eventides and stuff like that. Yeah, it's cool. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, take care.